Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and I apologize that we're getting late started. Totally my fault. If you would all rise, please, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'd like to certainly welcome everybody, and special thanks to Boy Scout Troop 64 under the leadership of Senior Garrett Lingle, Eagle Scout Award winner. Back when we were slated to have our meeting on Veterans Day, we thought it would be great, and certainly reached out to Garrett very quickly, and he rallied members of the Boy Scout Troop 64 to come and present the colors here this evening. Boy Scouts are an instrumental part of the community, and it fosters a lot of elements when you think of all of those tenets. And those tenets of Boy Scouting or Scouting USA connect really great into our Portrait of a Graduate. So if we could give a warm applause and thank you to members of the Boy Scout Troop 64 for participating this evening in the presentation of the colors. And Scouts, if you're listening, you certainly can come back in and join us for the meeting if you'd like, or if not, we certainly understand that as well. Thank you so much.
Do they give a merit badge for how many board meetings you attend?
I believe it's part of citizenship in the community. They do need to participate in a public meeting.
Oh, well, there you go.
You would have a lot.
What?
You'd have a
Oh,
lot.
yeah, yes, I would.
And I believe we do have a Eagle Scout amongst us as well. I believe Mr. Funk is an Eagle Scout, and I am as well. So it's great to have Scouts amongst us and have Eagle Scouts here also.
Mad
You also?
respect.
No.
I got to weed blows, that's all. But mad respect, thank you. May I have a motion at this time to adopt the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, public comments. We don't have any comments online at this time. Are there any comments from anyone in the community? All right, then we'll move on to item number 3, which is a presentation, which has to do with our 24-25 audit from Clay-Six and Associates. Welcome.
Good to see everyone again. You did get the name right. A lot of people don't get that Clay-Six name right, so I'm impressed, I have to say. Maybe it's these couple years I've already been coming in there. So what I want to do tonight is just, we didn't want to get held up in December with all the reorg meeting, and we didn't want to have to wait till January to kind of give you guys an idea of where everything stands. Now, in the coming time, probably over the next few weeks, we'll get the final audit report out. Dr. Fox and Jason will present it to you guys as is, and then that could be carried out a future meeting. But I just kind of wanted to go over some stuff about the audit in general, and just a little bit about the fund balance, because I know that we kind of talked about that some last year, and that there would be additional changes. So just that way everyone kind of knows where we're at on all of that, going into November. So I do want to thank all the staff, the business office staff and such, for all their assistance this year. If you guys remember, it wasn't really till February that we were coming in prior years. So this is, of course, we're much better now in November, only about 4 months after year end. So just, again, testament to the staff and all for getting the information to us in a timely manner, going over any questions and all of that. So, of course, there's this little packet that we gave you guys that will have summarize some of this information. It's only about 4 or 5 pages. The audit itself, what we're doing is, we're, of course, doing an independent review of your financials. We're verifying your numbers, we're verifying your cash, we're verifying your receivables, your revenue, your expenses. All that information is, we're doing a various testing throughout, looking at that, whether it's support, whether it's pulling information from your files, that's just kind of a process we're doing, from the time we start till the time we end. It's always, additional question on this, so it's kind of a lengthy process, but, we all kind of always learn a lot from it. And another part we always look at as well with the audit is the grant compliance, with the federal expenditures that you guys receive during the year. We always have to test a certain percentage of that and make sure you guys are in compliance, make sure, your expenses are being spent correctly. If you guys have any reporting requirements, that those are being done on time, and all that information. So we also looked at that. So most importantly for the audit with both of those is you guys have an unqualified opinion, which is always what it strive for. What we always do at the end, then we'll have some general recommendations for you guys of stuff we see. I know some of that has been implemented this year, going forward. So that's just always a yearly process with everyone. There's always going to be stuff we see that you guys could improve on, and of course you're always going to have that. So that's just kind of, again, the constant communication with that. So, and I'm going to kind of go into what makes up this number, but the total general fund balance at the end of June 30th, 25 would have been just over 18 million, 18,075,439. Now, of course, and on the final audit report, we'll have that breakdown. A lot of that is already committed to future projects, to future expenses, stuff that you guys can't spend for certain reasons. So, of that number, it's not like all 18 million is necessarily money that just can be used for anything, but I'm going to working with Jason and such to go over that, make sure we have all those numbers in the correct area for that. So your total revenues for and this is of course general fund. I'm mostly focusing on general fund because that's of course your main operating account and such. Your total revenues for general fund are 39,430,917, and your total expenditures are 40,410,000. I think it's 90 and 91, and that makes a change in your fund balance. This is just for the current year of $979,080. So just under $1 million is the change. And there's a couple things that really go into that number that I want to focus on today to kind of explain why that's the case. So if everyone remembers, and those who weren't, last year we were talking about how it's been a continuous process to make sure these balance sheet accounts are right going forward. I know there's been a lot of work done on that to find out where a lot of these numbers came from. We didn't want to just change certain numbers to change them, and then you guys are going to have something down the line that's going to make it worse until we kind of get the full impact of everything. So I know I mentioned last year there's going to be a restatement during the year, with that fund balance, tied up from stuff that should have been expensed or shown as revenue in prior years as we finish cleaning up the numbers, which at the end of this year we are, this is the numbers this year we're very comfortable with, and I think this is really the last year that a change like that's going to happen. If you go to jump around a little bit, if you go to the last page here of the audit summary, if you look at that under that summary part, there's a prior year's audit restatement of just over $1 million. So that's all those numbers that are that got put through, for that specific restatement number. Of course, we have our own adjusting journal entries during the year. Then, there's always going to be stuff that we say, oh, you guys should have put this in this account. You guys are missing that. We're off this number a little bit. There's always going to be little things like that, but that's just the current year. But that's kind of finally the last of that for those prior years. So we want to show that, and also the current year financial impact of that, of the $82,911, which is in a favorable way. Like if you didn't take that restatement into account, just your normal operating expenditures, and that gets us to that fund balance adjustment of just under $1 million, which you'll see it summarized there. And then I know, which this is also going to be on the final audit report, but there's some differences with the budget to the actual as well there. And again, this is just for general fund only. So you could kind of see those differences, and it kind of averages out to, not far off really to what was expected in the budget. But again, there's kind of those things that go into it. So again, this is the most comfortable I feel now going forward. I think you guys have the controls in place now where that's not going to happen anymore when stuff, things aren't going to build up that, those numbers we need help reconciling out at the end of the year. So again, test, and that's just something we've preached on. I know the first couple years that we've done this is, to have those internal controls in place, to have the people in place to do that. So, again, because if you guys are looking at financials that don't have that accurate information, it doesn't always give you guys the best idea of where you're at either. If you guys have to make any sort of spending decisions in future years, if you guys need to, do we need to do this do we want to spend on this new project? Do we want to spend on this? Where do we need to take the money from? Having the most up-to-date financials even during the year, you don't always want to wait till the audit for that, right? Because if you're waiting for the audit, that's not the most up-to-date information. Then if you have to make a decision in like March of this year, you don't want to wait another 6-7 months to get the audit. So I think then with these numbers in place and going forward, and from what we've observed in that process, I think that will give you an accurate picture of the district at, really at all times. So I believe next year then, when we'll be talking, we're just going to be talking about anything with the current year. This is a current year change. This affected this way. And then, it's just going to be kind of a continuous process. And of course, along with the general fund, we looked at things such as, your capital fund. We looked at the proprietary fund, which is your cafeteria fund. That's all part of our audit too, as well as the general fund. And that's going to be listed on those statements as well that, you guys get for the audit. Just a summary of the revenue and expenses and such for that. And then you guys are going to get the detail in relation to that, like, what you're at, where your assets are at for the, like your capital assets are at for the year, like your equipment, your buildings, between the general fund, the food service fund, we'll have all that detail as well coming forward to you in the near future. And I mean, and really that's really the main points we wanted to hit. Again, that number, just looking at it like that doesn't give you the full picture. So I kind of wanted to let you guys know where that came from. And I know at this point, Susquenita's books do match ours going forward. All the audit adjustments are in, so I think we're in good shape with any future reporting and such, as that will be getting done in the near future. Does anyone have any questions? I know I just said a lot in a short time. Does anyone have any questions on what I was explaining with the fund balance?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Yeah.
So the restatement that you're showing of the 1 million change,
Yep.
is that similar to the restatement that we did last year that was the $4 million
Yes.
plus to the plus?
Yes.
So did I hear you correctly saying that whatever adjustments needed to be done, we would not experience that next year? Like, are we gonna, or will there always be a chance
No,
we're gonna have?
No, that's not something. So what happens with that a lot is, like, as some of these balances were getting cleaned up, like, going through that takes time. What happens is you don't always want to run it through the current year like we did, unless you know what those ending, you could really be comfortable with what's going to be going forward. Because then again, you don't want to have to, again, like you were just saying, you don't want to keep having to do the same thing. Like every year, the $4 million one was such a large one last year. We definitely don't want that again. So you are correct on this. With where we're at now, there's always going to be audit adjustments, but not this way. It's just going to be part of just your normal financial statements. It's just going to hit like that current year financial impact. That's where it's all really going to go under then, is any of those with regular audit adjustments are a normal thing every year, but not, something like that is really where the books are getting cleaned up on that part of it.
So if we didn't have that restatement, if we had had a year where you might have a little bit of an adjustment, we would have essentially broken even this year, or last year in our
Yes.
budget.
Yeah.
It would have been really close.
Like you said, it could go either way depending on the nature of the adjustments, but like you said, it's going to be very close either
It was
way.
very close. Okay, so we didn't, given the fact that we had kind of zero-lined the state budget monies last year, and then we got the increases that they gave us, even though we had approved a deficit budget for the 24-25 year, with the increases we got from the state, some federal stuff, we ended up breaking even, essentially,
Yep.
if we had not had this
And really
restatement.
a big part of that was the state. I know, like just looking at our variance analysis, which is just basically.
Yeah,
comparing
yeah,
prior
mostly,
years.
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really, the main part of that was really, there's a couple accounts here and there, but the main part of that was the state, the majority of that.
So when we were showing an expense of $40 million, that's not really reflective of them, of the district's overspending $2 million.
Correct.
It has to do with that restatement.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
thank you.
Excellent, really. I rarely enjoy hearing someone talk about an audit. But I
Yeah,
think,
I can keep talking about
No,
numbers all
I-
night if you guys want.
I think your brevity is your strength tonight, so I thought you did a nice job, and this is nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys again. It's always nice when we see, everything that we've been doing, like continually improve like that. That's what we really hope for with anyone over time. So it's always nice, it's very nice to see that with any of our clients.
And I'd also, I'm sorry, did you?
I was just going to say, and a big shout out to Mr. Browse, who is a consistency here in our office, is doing a great job of leading the business office. And
maybe that's why he wanted me to come this week. He really wants everything. All the
Everything,
this week.
state championship, get a good audit. Yeah, and no, I think I'd like to just also echo the fact that for me, being in my 5th year as a school board member, this is probably the first year that I feel really comfortable with the audit process. And it does speak volumes to your persistence in trying to get that consistency within the office. Mr. Medina, Mr. Browse, I think bringing this team together has really, you can feel the change of cleaned up processes, and we appreciate that. I think I can speak for the board, how much we appreciate that. So thank you.
Yep, and once you guys do get the report again, if there's any questions, if you want to tell Mr. Browse, and he'll, if we need to let you guys know anything with that, we'd always be happy to provide any other further information. Thank you, everyone.
All right, if we can go on to item number 4. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the following meetings: October 14th, a regular board meeting, November 5th, policy committee meeting, and November 5th caucus meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Any opposed? Motion carries. This time we have the student representatives report. Our students are not here tonight, but that's because we have a town hall coming tomorrow, so hopefully we'll have a lot of students out tomorrow, and our 2 students, Olivia and Raylene, will be facilitating that meeting, so looking very forward to that. We go to finance. Mr. Browse?
All right, 2 finance updates in one night. It doesn't get any better than that. So just looking at the current year, I gave you the 2 reports again, the old one and then the newer one. The new one is still very similar to what you saw last time. We haven't got the prior year information in yet. We'll try to have that for the January one if possible. But looking at revenues for the year, we brought in $13.3 million, so about 35% of our revenue has come in for the year. We are about 33% of the way through, so we're a little ahead there. Looking at the different breakouts, the local, where 90% of our real estate taxes have been collected, which is, really good. The real kind of piece that we're behind on is the state funding, but I'm sure you've all heard now that the budget is passed and that money is starting to roll in, so we will see more of that come in here between now and the end of the year. So yeah, revenue's in a pretty good place now with the state budget getting passed. Flipping over to the expense side, we have spent about $10.35 million, or 26% expended. That is a little bit, low right now as well. There'll be a big, an uptick there in November as we do the retroactive pay to the contract. But right now we're at 26% and 33% of the way through the year. But that'll get closer to where we should be at the end of November. Yeah, so I think no surprises. Things are trending according to plan, and we'll have a better look as we go through the next couple months on where we are halfway through the year. But no call-outs at this point. I did put some comments in there for some of the bigger variances. We'll take a look at maybe moving some small budget monies just to make things make a little more sense. But a lot of spending happens from a supply perspective early in the year to get set up for the school year. Some IT stuff and software purchases happen early in the year as well. So that's what's causing some of the higher percentages as well. So that'll all balance out as the year goes on.
Any questions for Mr. Browse? I love this. This is what we've asked for so long, and I just love your notes. Like, yeah, we need to review budget now. So it's not like it felt like for years every time we would start a budget, it was like we were starting from nothing. But It's amazing. Thank you. Good
Right,
job.
yeah, no, and I appreciate it, and, you know, on back to the audit, you know, I just wanna, you know, thank my business, team, you know, without them, it's not me, it's them. You know, so again, to be fully staffed and, you know, have people that are excited to, you know, dig into things, it's really a great team effort.
All right, you heard that. No one is allowed to leave the business office.
Amen.
Yes, Coach.
All right, if there aren't any more questions, then I would ask that someone please make a motion for the payment of orders. I'll just simply say as listed on the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item number 7, personnel. Can I have a motion, please, to approve personnel items number 7B through H as presented? And I'm pulling I out. We're going to vote on that separately, but, so B through H.
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Any opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to approve item number I, the authorization to commit employment, item number I under personnel? We are going to authorize the administration to commit employment of appropriate candidates for vacancies to be filled prior to the December 2025 board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? Any opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the disciplinary committee recommendation for student 120713?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Any opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the Contact to Care Memorandum of Understanding with the United Way?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? And we heard about this at the caucus meeting 2 weeks ago. Just refresh everyone's memory as to what that is. Are there any opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion, please, to add Brian K. Waters, Edward J. Daimler, and Thomas A. Randall to the approved ROAR bus driver list?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11, may I have a motion, please, to approve the second reading of policy 907-1, tobacco use on campus?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12, field trips. May I have a motion to approve this senior class of 2026 day trip to Ocean City, New Jersey on May 26, 2026? One school day would be missed.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, donations. May I have a motion to approve the donation of $1,000 from Fitzpatrick Media for student athletic activity? Also, I'm going to take these all at once if that's all right. A motion, or do they have to be separate? I'll take a motion to approve an anonymous donation of $2,000 for delinquent lunch balances at the elementary school, and a motion to approve an anonymous donation of $300 for delinquent lunch balances at the elementary school.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Mrs. Singley?
Is there any background information on the $1,000 donation for student athletic activity?
Yes, I believe that is part of our, that T-Mobile Friday nights partnership, and it's through their media organization that sponsors and works with T-Mobile for that.
But what does it, did it go to pay for that night, or what does the donation go
No,
to?
it was part of
So
that,
it's called-
kind of, part of T-Mobile's ability to get participants. They had a tent set up at one of the games to allow people to look at their different products and cell phones and different. And I think the idea was to get people to also vote. And part of it was a complete, I think it's Robert Gronkowski was one of the spokespersons, and the idea was to get, if you got X amount of people that were able to vote for it, you could get a complete stadium renovation. And I believe, so in its total, we did pretty well in terms of votes, where it was close to $8,000, I want to say, 8,500 in total. That will go back into different activities for athletics and into the stadium and other usage that certainly could benefit the entire district.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to say, these anonymous donations for $2,300 for delinquent lunch balances, I know the reward will be in heaven, but I would like to acknowledge whoever these people are. But given that our government was shut down and given that there's a food scarcity issue, for people to step up and donate this kind of money to make sure children are at least getting a good lunch here at school so that their balances are paid, I just think is remarkable. So whoever that was, whoever those people are, thank you very, very much. And I'll move on to item number 14, which is Cumberland Perry Area Career and Technical Center update, which is me. You have a copy of the tech school budget at your seats, and I'm going to do my best to go over it quickly. But I also just real quick wanted to report the construction is progressing well. They had 2,465 eighth grade students toward the tech school last month, and we have 79 students on co-op at the tech school, and there are others onboarding. And I did some checking. Susquenita, we have 4 students on co-op. We have 2 more additional ones boarding currently. So the co-op opportunity over there is amazing, absolutely amazing. So I'm going to go through this budget, if you all have it, and I'm going to go through quickly. Please stop me and answer any questions that I have. But and this is obviously yours to take, with you. But I think, but I'll start with the end of the end of the story is the tech budget is going to go up about 8.85% from last year, which is a little over $1 million. It's going to go up $1,068,296. Of that, I believe my understanding is Susquenita, our contribution to the tech school budget is going to go up $31,257. So that's the bottom line for us. We're looking at an increase of $31,000, which is an increase in our budget of 6.35% toward the tech school from the previous year. So I'm going to now explain a little bit why. But if you go to page 2, and I'm not going to go through this whole book, but I think they do a really nice job at the tech school, the business manager there. What she does is she has this chart, and then she has numbers down below that explains certain things. And she does that pretty much on all of these pages if you want to go through them. But I will explain why the rate has gone up. The collective bargaining agreement was just finalized for the professional staff. And the way they look at, every year actually, the way they look at salary increases for their professional staff is they take all the sending school districts and they average their salary increases and they come up with an increase. So part of the reason for this increase in the tech budget is that their teachers are going to be receiving a 4.25% salary increase. And last year it was 4%. Next year will be 4.25%. Another reason for the increase in budget is they have a diversified occupations teacher, which previously had been paid for through a grant, and that grant dried up. But we still need the teacher. The teacher's a valuable part, so now that's going to be coming out of the budget. We're also, as of April 2027, we're going to be hiring an additional maintenance employee, and the reason is because we will have, we'll start having hopefully part of the new building up, and they're going to need additional maintenance staff for that. Also, due to the new building, we have an increase in water and sewer insurance. I mean, we can't be building a new building without ensuring the things that are being done. We've budgeted for an increase in cleaning supplies. We also have budgeted increase in heating because of the new building. As we start moving into it, the heat costs are going to go up. There's also an increase of 15%, which is pretty high, actually. I think it was 12% last year. This year's a 15% increase in healthcare premiums. And part of that is because the tech school, the size of the staff, they've had several staff members with very significant health risk, which has taken quite a bit of money to take care of. And if, I'm not going to say this correctly, but if it's basically like a part of a consortium where you're looking at the costs and then you adjust accordingly. So that's why they did that. Oh, by the way, Jay, I just looked at you. This is the third financial report in one night. You said 2. This is 3. Anyway, sorry. So that's why tuition reimbursement costs have gone up $30,000 due to actual increasing of those types of costs. So that's pretty much, these are the things that are driving the increase in the budget. Any questions for me? Okay, turn to pages 9 and 10, and I'll let you obviously look at everything else. You look at page 9, this is a quick overview. These are all the sending school districts. And the way that the amount we pay is predicted is by the number of students we have in the school. And if you look at that first box where it says dropped, that's every 5 years that the enrollment is based on a 5-year rolling enrollment. So if you look at, so that means this year we add a year, but we take off the one that was 5 years ago. So we're going to be dropping our enrollment from 2019 and 20, which was 69 students. Now we're currently, this year, we have 74 students at the tech school. So we actually have 5 additional students, which is another reason why our amount went up, because we're going to pay a higher percentage of the overall budget because we have 5 additional students. And then next year, that number could go up or down depending upon how many students drop off. Actually, it'll probably go up. If you look at 2021, we had 59 students. And it'll probably go up considerably because in the last couple of years, we've been 77, 66, 74 students. So that will probably increase as well. Any questions on understanding that chart? And if you look at the page 10 lists every single school district that's sending students to the tech school, and it tells you the percentage of the budget that each school district pays. Susquenita, if you go down and look over in the first column, we actually pay 5.561% of the overall tech budget based on our student enrollment. And then if you go over it, that amounts to $523,000 and $523,716. And the previous year, the percentage of our budget was 5.623. So I would think it would actually go up, but actually, our number of students went up. You would think that the percent that we're paying is going to go up, but that's not correct because the actual number of students in the school itself have gone up significantly and will continue. So it's a matter of just working that out. So I thought these pages would be important. You could look at each school district and what their contribution is.
Do we, so the 31,000 that we're going to be, is that this year's budget or what we would be budgeting for next year?
For next year.
Okay.
We at the JOC is going to be voting on this budget at our reorganization meeting the first week in December. And then it will come back for the schools to vote on. I'm going to probably say January or February.
So just kind of looking ahead, do you know how many students we have there this year?
It should
73,
say here, 70,
No, we only go to 24, 25.
oh, I don't know. You said 73?
That sounds about right.
So the only thing I'm wondering, is just kind of chess matching a little bit, it looks like the following year, we're going to be dropping at 59.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah, so do we need to, see, Mr. Medina's going, she's smart. No, and maybe it's not going to be that reflective because if you said the total enrollment of the school has gone up, maybe it's not going to be as dramatic as that 74 from 59 is going to be, right? Because the percentage may not be as much. I just didn't know if that's something we've got to
I think it's
consider.
safe to say we are going to, the following year, take a huge financial hit for the tech school because this new building will be finished.
Okay.
And we may have to hire, will have to hire additional custodial staff, maybe even another maintenance person.
Yeah.
Heat, water, all that, plus all the teachers of the new departments. We were going to be putting like 2 teachers per year over a period of 2 years for a total of 4 teachers. Next year, we'll probably be hiring an additional 4 staff members, plus, all the ancillary staff. But we have asked Mr. Wolf, the director, to put together something that's has all that clearly outlined, exactly how many staff, what they're going to be teaching, what the department is, and as well as I will get for you a total breakdown of costs that are associated with the gas leak that we had, which has now been completely settled and that's finished, except for, I think we have to continue testing the wells to make sure they're clean, and they continue to be clean. So that's almost behind us. But once I get those two pieces of information, I'll make sure that we get that.
Excellent, thank you.
Any questions, anyone? Again, obviously take this home and peruse it. All right. Dr. Fox, could you please give us a Susquenita Blackhawk Foundation update?
Absolutely. It's been pretty busy in terms of the Blackhawk Foundation, with the big event coming up December 7th at 11 o'clock. So please, if you haven't done so, register. Please go online. You can hit our website. There's a link on the website to Vulcan Race Timing, where you can electronically register for the second Jingle Bell Ugly Sweater Edition 2.5-mile run, 2-mile walk, and 0.25-mile kids fun run. There is no charge for the 0.25 kids run. So bring your kids, come out, don those ugly sweaters. We know you have them. We know you want to create them. The uglier, the better. And there'll be a contest for that. Lots of prizes. Again, all profits go to the foundation that supports our teachers and our student programs. So please come out and run, walk. And it will take place here at the high school. And then when you're completed, you can go ahead, refresh, maybe grab a hot chocolate, dust yourself off, take a little nap, and then get ready for the 2 o'clock matinee that will occur for our fall play that will happen that afternoon. So make a day of it here at Susquenita. It should be beautiful. It's always great on December 7th. So please come out and certainly support the Jingle Bell and support the Blackhawk Foundation. Should be a really good course, should be a little challenging, should have a little bit of everything. So it's going to be awesome. Look forward to it and look forward to racing some people.
And for the ugly sweater, no fair Dr. Fox printing a picture of yourself and putting it on your sweater.
I think
That
that's,
wasn't that bad.
I was trying to process. Yeah, I think,
You can print my picture and put it on your sweater, you would win. Sorry, like a lead balloon. All right, number 16, the meeting schedule is there for your enjoyment. Our next meeting is a reorganization meeting on December 1st. We have to have that on the first week of December by law. And we will have no additional meetings in December. And so we will then resume our regular policy meeting and caucus meeting starting in January 6th.
2026.
I was gonna say, I'll make sure to put my glasses on, make sure.
Oh, got the wrong year.
But-
Yeah, very good.
Always takes a little getting used to.
Informational items, I don't think we have anything there. Dr. Fox, administrative reports.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of things happening. The first thing I would like to do is just take a moment, and unfortunately, he's not able to join us this evening, but a special congratulations and thank you to Mr. Phil Lehman for 16 years of dedicated service to the Susquenita School District as a board member. He was past president of the board. His commitment to students and his commitment to the community is respected, admired, and sincerely appreciated. If you see Phil, as he often does come to many events, please thank him. Please go ahead and make sure that he understands how appreciated and respected that he is. And certainly, let's go ahead, even if he's not here, he'll hear it, and hopefully watch the video and get a chance to see our sincere appreciation. As we roll on with some thank yous as well, I think it's always fitting that we take some time in November to thank our veterans and celebrate the service of our veterans. Your dedication, certainly to our great country, is greatly appreciated. As we honor the veterans from this past November 11th on Veterans Day, we really should be thanking them each day. So it's certainly our appreciation to you as veterans, and we'd like to extend our heartfelt thank you for your service. Tomorrow is our student town hall. Thank you to all of those who really spend a lot of time working with our students. Olivia, Brainlin, who will be our facilitators. They spend a lot of time recruiting, working with students, trying to get some questions, some feedback, some thoughts and concerns. So the Student Leadership Committee should be thanked. They spend a lot of hard work encouraging participation. It's, as was stated, our next organization meeting is our next meeting is December 1st, 2025 at 7 o'clock. It will be a reorganization meeting. There will be no caucus, and our regular meeting will follow the reorganization. We welcome a new board member on December 1st, 2025, and we'll swear in that new board member as well as our re-elected members as well. And we thank all of the members for your service. It is a service. As an elected official, you spend a tremendous amount of time, a tremendous amount of effort researching, reading, preparing. All of the data and analytics that you look at is unbelievable. So let's give you a round of applause and thank you for your service. The fall play The Matchmaker is a 1954 Broadway production composed by Thornton Wilder and inspired the musical Hello, Dolly. There will be a free senior showcase for senior citizens and veterans on Tuesday, December 2nd at 3:30, and two main performances will be held on Friday, December 5th and Saturday, December 6th at 7 o'clock. And as we mentioned, there is that Sunday matinee that will take place at 2 o'clock. So bring your running shoes, bring a change of clothes, come join us for a great day, as well as our dedication and ribbon cutting ceremony that Mrs. Bressy will be talking about here in a second for our incredible additions to our playgrounds. Finally, congratulations to our 2025 PIAA State Champion Field Hockey team with an incredible season. We look forward to celebrating this historical run with you on Friday as we send out information pertaining to our celebration of champions. Coach Browse, congratulations, and thank you for your several seasons as your team has put blood, sweat, and tears into building the program. I think it goes without saying your commitment to the entirety of the program, but most importantly, your commitment to our student athletes is appreciated and respected. Thank you very much, Coach. Now I'll turn the microphone over to my fellow administrators who would like to say a few words.
All right, I'm going to start off with just a couple thank yous. First to our parents, guardians, and community members that came out to our Halloween parade. Thank you for your flexibility. It got rained out. We had to move it to that Friday, the 31st, but everything worked out perfectly despite the wind. So thank you for coming out. Also for coming out to back our parent-teacher conferences. That worked out really well. It's always great to have the parents come into the building, meet with our teachers, and see all the great things that are going on at the elementary school. We do have a couple other things going on at the elementary school. Our students right now are in the middle of a couple fundraisers, one being the Kids Heart Challenge through the American Heart Association, where they're raising money for the American Heart Association. The last time I checked, they are or were at 60% of their goal of $5,000. I think we're a lot closer to that now. That's wrapping up here at the very beginning of December. PTO also has a candy sale going on right now, and I know they're doing really well with that. We also want to say thank you to all the high school students that come up and do the meet and greets in the morning. Through the fall and moving into the winter, we got a lot of great interaction between the high school students and our elementary school students. Just absolutely love to see them. Thank you to the marching band, the football players, the soccer players. We got bocce signed up coming up soon, indoor track, cheerleading, wrestling. So it's just an amazing thing to have the high school students coming down and seeing our students. One last reminder, December 9th, we have our 4th grade choir holiday concert here at the high school, so we're really excited for that, and we hope everybody makes it out.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. We had quite a few things going on here in November at the middle school. I'm going to echo what he said. Conferences went well. The evening conferences on the 6th as well as Monday. Pretty good attendance, building-wide. On the 7th, right after the evening conferences, 8th grade went to the Philadelphia's Ben Franklin's Institute. I was able to accompany them, and it was amazing. I had never been there before. I think I had more fun than some of the kids, actually. Today began rotation 3, and so as the kids were like, how many more days of school do we have left? And I said, well, put the math together, and we are officially 1/3 through the school year. So Tomorrow, it's exciting. Sixth grade starts their BizTown stuff with interviews and things. Mr. Klingerman just said that we have over 20 community members coming in to help with that as well. I think some high school students are dedicating their time as well to come down and help with that as well. On the 20th, we have Grief Awareness Day with the counselors providing a variety of activities to promote wellness and awareness of grief. That Friday, we have door decorating contest for December, and then it gets judged for top 3 winners of door decorating. And on, I think, the same day, the 21st, we're excited to see the field hockey players come down and tour the building. And then the 2 days before Thanksgiving, we are going to do our first round of Firefly. So I think we're all set up for that to get some data in and kind of plan accordingly how we can move forward towards PSSAs.
Thank you. I just want to reiterate congrats to the field hockey team, Coach Browse, and everyone associated with the team. We're very proud of you and looking forward to the celebration this week. Also want to shout out for the cheerleaders bringing home PICO championship for the 2nd year in a row. So I'm looking forward to following them as they move along and go to states. Just to reiterate that we have the fall play coming up. It's going to be great. So come on out. Free show for veterans and seniors is Tuesday the 2nd. Then the show is Friday, Saturday evening, and Sunday for the matinee. And I'd just like to personally thank Mr. Lehman for all his years working as a school board member and the support and leadership he's shown me over those 15 or 16 years, I think it is. He's really done a lot for our school and our students. So he'll be missed, but I'm happy that he's moving on to the next step in his life. Thank you.
So just to reiterate what Dr. Fox said, on December 7th, prior to the Jingle Bell Jog at 10 o'clock, we are having our official ribbon cutting for our adaptive playgrounds. They were put in a little bit later than what we wanted to. We actually wanted them in September, but they're in. From what I understand, the kids are loving them. Little boy came up to me the other day and said, "You know, we can fit 6 kids on this slide." I was like, "That's great, buddy." So he was very excited. So we are kind of piggybacking on the Jingle Bell Jog and then the matinee, so make an entire day out of it. Please, we are going to, although there is the adaptive playground in the back between the 1st and 3rd and 2nd and 4th grade playgrounds, we will be doing the ribbon cutting on the one in the front in the kindergarten playground, just because it's an easier access for people to get to. So that's where we'll be doing that, and then you can don your sweater and go up and take a run. So thank you.
Okay, so just some athletic updates here. Obviously, we already hit on it. Big accomplishment this Saturday. We are the state champions for PIAA 1A. 2-0 win over Boiling Springs. We scored within the first 25 seconds, which, you know, before even most of the people sat down, we were up 1-0. So that was really cool. First team state title in Susquenita history. The turnout was incredible. From our vantage point, and Coach Browse can probably say the same thing, there was more orange than purple by far in the stands. So it was really cool to see. Whenever these kind of championships happen, you know, you wonder about the domino effect. We really wanted our athletes there to see this environment, see what it looks like, because that's the goal. And I heard a lot of students come up to me today, just say how cool it was, all the cameras, all the media. But that's the goal. So that was just an incredible accomplishment by Coach Browse and the field hockey team. So it was fantastic.
Can I just piggyback on that, you know, with the fans and stuff? I saw pictures of the AAA, and we had more fans there than both the AAA schools combined. I mean, that's what it really comes down to, is the small community, you know, backing each other, you know, and I'm not down in, you know, the big schools, you know, but like this type of environment just isn't there. So, you know, thank you for, you know, everybody in the community, the teachers, whoever came out to support us. I mean, when the kids looked over in the stands and saw how much orange was over there, that makes them want to play harder and better. So thank you.
So the championship parade will be Friday. Friday will be Black Hawk Pride Day. Students and staff will wear black and orange. Starting at 2 p.m., field hockey players and coaches will visit the elementary and middle schools to walk through the halls, get some high fives, have some kids cheering for them. Pretty cool. Team will be escorted by bus through Marysville at 5:30 and 6 p.m. through Duncannon. And we plan to have everything back at the stadium. There's still some details we're gonna finalize, but we're still working on that. But that's the idea. So we definitely want to celebrate the team and this accomplishment on Friday night. So we welcome anybody to come out, and we will get all those details out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Please come out and support the field hockey team. And one of our goals certainly is to really refine this process. So the more state championships we get, that this will be a really easy process for us to be able to celebrate.
So winter sports have begun. So boys and girls basketball, it looks like we have enough for JV and varsity for both. Competition cheer, bocce, wrestling. So we did start girls wrestling last year, and this year we have 15 to 17 possible varsity girls that are interested, and we actually have about 12 junior high girls that are interested. So there are some Tri-Valley schools that are having just some junior high girls. So we're gonna do that a little bit and give them some competition. The whole thing with junior high boys and girls having to wrestle boys and stuff like that, it was a situation where I think a lot of schools are trying to move away from that and get into the junior high girls having their own competitions. That's something that we're excited to try out this year. So again, that's going to be a great event. We're going to kind of stack everything. So junior high girls, junior high boys, varsity boys, so everybody gets to see it. Schedules are still being finalized. A lot of Tri-Valley schools are losing JV programs, especially in girls basketball. So some additions and subtractions, we're adding in some JV games, maybe a JV play day, so we can allow our JV teams to get some extra time. And we had a great experience these past 2 Friday nights. So 2 Fridays ago, we hosted Steel High in Halifax. Halifax brought their entire community, but it was cool. Very good turnout, great for our boosters. And then the following Friday, we hosted Steel High and Chestnut Hill in the first round of the state playoffs. Outstanding respect by both teams. I mean, everything I heard was great. Locker rooms were immaculate when they left. We actually heard one of the coaches say, to one of the kids, if there is something on that floor, you are not playing tonight. I mean, we saw all of that. It was great. If you look, Steelton High made a great Facebook post about the hospitality and everything that we showed them. And it was great. Again, great for our boosters and awesome turnouts for both nights. So we're very happy about it. We want to continue doing that, not just for football, but for other sports as well. So
Kudos to you, Scott, for your professionalism and the way you're working with other schools. It continues to elevate Susquenita, so appreciate it. Thank you. Any public comments at this time? Do any board members have any comments?
Yeah, I have a couple things. Just a real quick dovetail on what you had said, Scott. At the PIAA District 3 meetings, I've gotten great feedback from our hosting of events here, and so thank you for that. And that was obviously evident by the Facebook posting from Steel Eye, but we do really appreciate it. And to Jason's point about the fans, that did not go unnoticed by a bunch of those ADs that were there, the Cumberland Valley AD or whatever, that just really recognized the turnout and the community spirit that Susquenita had. And they were all honestly genuinely happy for our success in that state championship. So it was cool. Just a couple things. I know we may have touched on this a little bit, but I just wanted to express thanks to Pat for arranging for our meeting with Representative Stambaugh and Senator Rothman, Dr. Jones, myself and Dr. Fox and Pat had an opportunity to meet with both of them to discuss cyber charter reform, and in particular, talking about how that might reflect in the upcoming budget. I'd like to extend a special thank you to Morgan Wagner and Ben Slate, who are both the staffers for Senator Rothman, because when Senator Rothman had to leave us, after about a half an hour meeting with him, which was a robust meeting, they stayed on with us for a good half an hour longer to really have a genuine interest in what can be done, or maybe to work towards what can be done. In Representative Stambaugh's recent newsletter, he had reflected that he had voted no on an education portion of the budget that did have some cyber charter reform in it. And I had reached out to him to ask him why, because one of the statements that he had made was that cyber students and brick and mortar students were being treated differently, and he felt that he was uncomfortable with that, couldn't vote for it. So I asked him for clarification on that. He did not mean that the individuals, at least from his email, he did not express that the individual student was being treated differently, whether you were a cyber student or a brick and mortar student. That was actually the premise of what we've all been asking for, is that there is equity in how they're treated and what the schools are doing. It had to do with funding, and he felt that the funding was, in the way that it was being reframed, was not equitable. So I just wanted to make that clarification for those that get his newsletter. He did provide that, a very quick response to my email on that. Finally, I just wanted to say maybe a little bit more information about some of the things we just talked about. And let me start by saying that 10 years ago, a man had a vision here at Susquenita to start a girls' youth field hockey program. And he did that because he wanted to teach the fundamentals of field hockey to the girls from 3rd and 4th grade, so that when they got to the high school, they would already have a foundation of what he wanted and had envisioned for the program here. And my daughter was one of those first students in the 3rd and 4th grade, so I've been there since the beginning of that long process, and I still don't know the game. But one of the things that Jason Browse, had mentioned in one of his interviews was that it's not a 12-week season, it's a 12-month season. And he is the one that leads that 12-month season in volunteering his time, because we all know that our budget does not allow for 12 months of coaching fees. But in a few weeks, hopefully, he will be starting his winter skills sets that are held every Wednesday night at Olympic skating rink for those girls that can't afford club to keep their stick on the ball. He will have winter invitationals that he'll do in a club setting for the girls. For those that, again, are not playing club, and even for the girls that are, he'll go on to spring invitationals and games. He will bring them out for summer open fields, and then have the summer games that are held at Mechanicsburg for the girls to be able to play on the turf again. And then it'll all roll back around again to next year's fall season. That's what makes a program and one successful. That vision came to light with the state championship that he earned this year with the girls. You've been a mentor for these girls. You've been more than a coach. You've been a role model. And on behalf of the board, and as a former field hockey parent, I'd like to express our gratitude and appreciation for your commitment, dedication to the program, and advancing to the success of that program at Susquenita Field Hockey. Thank you.
Who wants to follow that?
I will, actually.
Oh, good.
You know, one of the other things I thought was important to maybe bring out too, because every once in a while we go through budget season and we talk about taxes and the raising of taxes. And I've even heard from constituents that go, we're raising our taxes. Why do we need $1 million turf field? You know, one of the things that we brought to light when we were looking at that turf field was the idea that there were sports that would benefit from that. One in particular was field hockey, and probably the most benefit to them because of how different the game plays on turf. And, you know, I look at that field, and in the 3 years since we put that in, we've had the team at the state championships for 3 years in a row. We've had girls going on to play collegiate field hockey. Everything that we named, that was named to us that night of reasons why this was a good idea, was not just a sales pitch. It really did come to fruition. And so it's not just field hockey, of course. There's other benefits to that field, whether it be the band or being able to do, but everything. I think it's important for us to remember that while it's not a direct correlation to them getting to the state or winning a state title, it certainly played into their ability to be able to compete on that level going forward. So thank you, I think, to the board again, but also to the community that night, you know, endorsed that purchase that we were able to do with our school. So thanks again.
No, I appreciate that. And just to be clear, part of that is because all of the higher level championship games are played on turf fields. And if our children are playing on grass, they are at a disadvantage when it gets to the championship level if they've not played on a turf field. So it has really made a difference. Well, I'm not as gracious as Mrs. Singley, but I will say, you know, I appreciate Dr. Guttil for helping to get Representative Stambaugh and Senator Rothman to meet with us. We did meet with Mrs. Singley and Dr. Guttil, Dr. Fox, and myself. We had Representative Stambaugh come here and meet with us for the second time in a number of years, talk about cyber school. The cost differences, or to revise the way that it is funded. We actually went to Harrisburg and met with Senator Rothman. Part of what we advocate for, and you've heard this from us a lot, is we just want equity. We want equity in funding. And you know, we're paying close to $4 million out of a $39 million budget in cyber school tuition, which it just seems ridiculous to me, and it continues to go up, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of accountability. Where I'm not as gracious is after those meetings, I did not feel for a second that either of these men were going to do anything to support, you know, changing the funding of cyber school reform. So for all of you out there that are paying taxes and are going to be paying more taxes, if we end up raising taxes again, I guarantee you one of the largest reasons for that will be these continued rising costs of cyber school costs, which we've got to refine them. I am a lifelong Republican, but it's very clear. Those out there that are advocating for fixing the cyber school situation are the Democrats. So if you're a Republican and you're listening, you might want to speak to other Republicans to find out. I think a lot of it's because Republicans typically, I'm painting with a broad brush, are for school choice. I'm for school choice. It's not that anyone is against school choice. It's just we want an equal playing field. And it just feels to me that some of our Republican lawmakers, elected officials, aren't listening. So if you have an opportunity to talk to any of them, or if you have any questions, please give any of us a call. We'd be glad to try to talk to you about it. And I'm sure we'll be talking about it more during our budget season. So I do appreciate those gentlemen giving us their time, and hopefully we'll get to meet with them again. And they were respectful, and it was good conversation. But I just don't think, I don't know, hopefully we planted a few seeds, and I don't want to disrespect them in any way at all, so I appreciate that. And I also just wanted to make a comment to say goodbye to Mr. Lehman. Mr. Lehman will not be on our board. Tomorrow will be, if he's here tomorrow night, will be the last board meeting he's at, I assume, because Phil did not run again for re-election. So he served like 16 years as a board member and decided, you know, it was time you know, to no longer serve. So, and I respect and appreciate that. He and I have been through a lot on the board, so I just wanted to wish him well as well. Any other comments from any other board members? Mrs. Walburn.
I actually would just like to say thank you to Mrs. Bressie for having the vision of modernizing our playground and using the Medicaid funds to do so, which allows our students of all abilities to be able to interact with each other and play, as all children should be able to. So I think this is a great thing that we can now offer our students, and so huge kudos to you for having that vision and seeing it through.
Kelly Noss, Penn Township. It's concerning the Cumberland Perry budget. Also knowing that the new programs are going in, what is our anticipated on how many more students? Because I know we either do the 5-year rolling, that's going to also increase, so that will also most likely impact how much we pay them for the upcoming budgets.
No, not at this time I can't, but that's an excellent question. So I think what certainly that we're looking for in the direction yes, kind of that layout plan of what that will look like. What is that anticipation? And I think it's going to be a rolling admission of students, because you want to put together certainly students that come in at different varying levels, your level 1 student or your level 2. And I think they're going to progress some of those students through there. So it's going to look a little different, but yes, our goal certainly is to continue to see enrollment increases across the board, whether it be programs that have low numbers in there, trying to increase awareness to those programs, because their career and technical education is valuable. Learning those transferable skills and stacking credentials is incredible. But to answer your question, that's really valuable information and information that we seek.
Yeah, and I think I speak for us when we say the vision is not just, okay, we got 4 new programs, we're going to have 4 new classes, but how can we increase enrollments, as he just said, in some of the undersubscribed programs as well, and get every program completely full as much as possible. Before I make a movement or ask for a movement for adjournment, I want to announce that we're going to be going into a short executive session following this meeting. And at this time, if no one else has any other comments, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.